Hi everyone, it's Grakef. So I got a short video for you today. Just got back from vacation, and so I got a rocket launch for you, and we'll go over this one. I feel like I've shot this before, but I was looking through my YouTube videos and haven't seen this particular rocket or this design. And since I'm coming back from vacation, I don't remember if I recorded it or if I just tested it. So if you've seen it twice, let me know in the comments. But we've got go with the auto-save version in case there's some variations on that, because I just launched it. So I've got this capsule right here. And so the upper portion is the important part here. And what I have is I've got a Connex cockpit. I had a little bit more success with the Connex cockpit than the X1 cockpit for staying stable, and that's why I decided to go on that. I've got a girdle, or a cubic octangle strut Mark II, and then a couple of little tanks up here. The tanks are filled with nitrogen. I could use a little bit more nitrogen, but it's not that much that it's making a difference. And when I'm able to go to HTP, they'll be a lot better anyways, so I won't need that much more space. And then I've taken and got the Sepratron medium motors stacked under here, and this is all to help this capsule come down a little bit better. And I've taken some drag parachutes, drogue parachutes, and then just normal parachutes, put those on the side. And that is all stacked on top of an RD-101. Might be a RD-102. Yeah, 101. So that's all stacked up there, ready to go. I've got this balanced right at 20 tons. I've recently upgraded the pads so that I can do more than that, but it was balanced pretty close to 20 tons. So you can come in here and just adjust these little side tanks a little bit and get that to 20 tons pretty easily. So, but because I just recently finished that upgrade, I went ahead and brought it to its full capacity. And it only takes about 44 days to build, and then you can do the launch contracts with that. We'll go through a launch here real quick and show you how it all works. And I don't think I made any changes, so we won't save that. Alright, I'll join you back on the launch pad. Okay, welcome back. Go ahead and launching this particular one. There is quite a few contracts based upon the X-plane high, and you can do those fairly easy with this rocket. There's also some that deal with crude altitude records, and so you can also do those with those records. So just turn on Ascent Guidance. I do have the updated versions. This primer vector guidance is working a lot better. Engage autopilot, launch it, and I reach thrust. It should take off. You just set your target apoapse to above whatever your X-plane high altitude here is, and just sit back and relax. Okay, there we go. It's a little off because it's expecting to try and circularize at that altitude, and it's also kind of over vectoring, but it's all good for us. Go ahead and release that. That should turn on the RCS, and we'll disengage that. You want to make sure you disengage that before, because it will launch off your Sepratron motors, which are there to slow us down. But yeah, that's basically the launch. Fast forward to descent, which is also straightforward. Thought there for a second we ran out of nitrogen. It's like, oh, that was way too quick. So once you pass your apoapse, you'll come into descent and we'll line up retrograde. You can line up retrograde before you start going into the descent, but it's easier to make the turn when you don't have any vertical horizontal, when you're just kind of floating there. Okay, we'll get lined up retrograde. And what I've been doing is basically floating down until I see the RCS thrusters having a problem trying to hold retrograde, and at that point then I hit the Sepratrons. So they should get all stabilized here and then shut off. Okay, now we can warp forward. It's usually around 60,000 to 50,000 when we hit that thicker atmosphere. There we go. And we'll go ahead and slow ourselves down. Arm these parachutes. Most of the time it hasn't been able to stay stable, but it's okay because it's not burning retrograde. And floating kind of sideways also helps because we're changing get the directions wrong. Our descent into basically horizontal movement. So your vertical speed into horizontal speed by going down horizontally. Those two parachutes, unfortunately, they deployed just a little bit too early. They're not really needed. And they do act as a little bit of a safety buffer. When I had 4 Separatron motors, this process was a little bit more scary. But now you just basically float down. So we'll go ahead and arm these other ones, and that's the video. Just land it and take your, I believe the contract is like 20,000, so it's 20,000 for accepting and 20,000 for completing. It might be, I think, a little closer to maybe 15,000 after you do it a couple times. So 30,000. Much better payout than the sounding rocket ones. So there you go. Sorry if this is a repeat. I looked, like I said, I looked through my YouTube videos and I hadn't seen this variation. I think I'd launched one without the Separatrons or without the upgraded Separatrons, and that made a world of difference without knocking my Kerbals unconscious. So that was really key to making this a much more successful launch. Now I get to learn orbital mechanics and try and get something that will launch now that we have a 60-ton launch pad. I think I'm still waiting on the orbital engines, and every design I have looked up requires those orbital engines, specifically the I believe it's the AG10-27, 25, 35. They're all kind of running a blank here since I haven't played in a while. But one of those is a great mid-stage engine, and the weight to ratio is designed for being a mid-stage. So once I have that one unlocked, we can build a orbiter, and with the help of MechJeb, we'll get into orbit. So thank you for watching. Hope you enjoy. Have a great day.